Hey, this is Christina Feliciano with Feliciano and Friends. Today I have Amelia here. She's a beautiful woman that's highly accomplished. She's an immigrant. She was born in Russia. She is highly educated. She has two master's degrees. She's a realtor. She has her own business. She does community service and does nonprofit organizations and really does a lot to give back. And she's really come a long way. And we're going to showcase her today and learn a lot. So welcome and thank you for
Thank you
coming.
so much for having me here.
So tell me a little bit of background. Where were you born and how old were you when you came to the United
I
States?
was born in Russia and I came to the United States when I was exactly 25.
Okay, so that was, I imagine, kind of difficult.
It
Yeah.
was it was difficult
Yeah.
transition, yeah.
When had you learned English? At what age?
So I graduated with my bachelor degrees back home
Mm-hmm.
with English language. So I
Okay.
had a good understanding of this
Yes.
language already. But the way how we've been taught there is a little different. The way how you guys
Was it
do
like
here.
UK? Okay.
Correct.
Yes.
And when I came here, everything was
Different.
different, and I couldn't understand, and but it took
Yeah.
me 2 weeks to
Oh,
kind of
well, that's
adjust.
pretty
And
fast.
it was there was a situation when I was sitting in the food court, and
Yeah.
I think I paid with my debit card with all
Yes.
the money on it, and
Yeah.
then I guess when I finished my food, I threw the thing, cleaned after myself,
Yes.
and then I figured that it was on my tray, the business card,
Yes.
the
The
debit
debit
card.
card. Yeah.
So I called my aunt and I was like, okay, auntie, there's something is going on. I can't find my
Yeah.
debit card. And she is in Gainesville as well. That's where I
Okay.
was at UF. And she's like, listen, I'm at work. Call the bank and figure it out yourself. And it was like only 2 weeks me
Oh.
being in the States. I was like, so I called, I figured
Yes.
out, I canceled this, the new one. And
Yes.
that's when I figured that, you know what, I can do anything.
Yes.
They don't understand me anyway.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
did you come to University of Florida to study?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So I was in Russia and graduated with my bachelor degree, and then after 2 years, I think I've been working there in a good business.
Yes.
I was into yachts and
Yes.
boats business, and then one day I just figured that I wanted to study more. I wanted to do my master degree,
Yes.
and then I came home one day and I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go to London to study.
Okay.
They're like, no, we don't have anybody in London. My parents were,
Yes.
you're gonna go to Gainesville. What's Gainesville?
Oh.
You'll find
Yes.
out. That's how I ended up in Gainesville.
Oh, okay. Very
Yeah.
nice.
My aunt, she's a professor at University of Florida.
Oh, okay.
And
Very
that's how
nice.
she was like, why wouldn't you just come here and
Yeah.
see it here and stuff like that. And plus my mom been here before
Yes.
several times. I've never been to America.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, let me, try it.
Yes. Have you been to England then?
No.
No?
But I
Okay.
had a lot of friends there who
Yeah.
would, keep calling
I
me.
did a
like,
year abroad at University of Oxford.
Did you like it there?
I did.
Was it fun?
Yeah, for me, I kind of felt, half Swedish, half American. I feel like it was kind of like a hybrid of the two. So
Right,
I
that's
had
what I
fun.
heard.
Yeah, so I liked it. I was there from my year that I was 19. I studied there.
That's the
Yeah.
best age to be.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I was in London all the time. And it was funny because when I lived there, everyone's like thought I traveled so much and I didn't because I just made friends there and I was just like London and Oxford. That was kind of all I did.
That's amazing.
So was it culture shock when you came to Gainesville?
Big culture shock.
Yeah.
Everything was different, and it's so funny because I lasted here the first time. I lasted here about 7 months, and then I
Okay.
went back home.
Yes.
I couldn't anymore. I bought myself a ticket. Nobody expected me back, and when I came, they're like, "Okay, so you at least you try."
Yes.
And I was supposed to be getting married there at that
Mhm.
time. I had a fiance. He's
In
an
Russia?
Yeah, he was
Okay.
an actor, and
Okay.
he was like, "You sure you want to go?" Back
Yes.
when I just came first time, and I was like, "Yeah," but then when I came back, he's like, "Okay, that's it."
Yeah.
So we settled the date for the wedding and all that,
Mhm.
and it's like 2 months after. I'm like,
Yeah.
there is something I didn't accomplish well.
Yeah.
I think I need to go back. So I bought a ticket and
Okay.
went back, canceled the wedding. I was shocked, but I came
Yeah.
back, and that's when it's the real adjustment started. So
Okay.
the first time when I came, 7 months, the
Yes.
whole 7 months of the cultural shock,
Mm-hmm.
everything from food
Yes.
to the people, from people smiling to you on
Yeah.
the streets, and you're like, okay, how is that working
So-
here?
yeah,
Because
go
it's
on.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Here in America, people
Friendly,
smile
especially
to
in the
you.
South. Yes.
In Russia, smile does not associate with being friendly. It's a little different back home. If
Yeah.
you're friendly, you're friendly. You're just passing by friendly, like,
Yeah.
okay, that's it. When you're smiling, that means it's it's more of an approval of something you do,
Mm-hmm.
or there should be an action or
Yes.
a small talk or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. So for me, it was different. For the beginning, I was telling my auntie, I was like, why are they smiling at me? They want something from me?
No,
They
it's
want to hurt me? They want to do something?
it's funny
But
you say that because when I was little, I'm sure Russia's probably more than Stockholm, but when I'd be in Stockholm, when we'd walk on the street sometimes, I would like smile and stuff, and more than once, especially the older, they would stop and they say, Shenia Day, which means like, do I know you? Because for like a
exactly.
child to look at an adult and like smile and say hi, the assumption is this child must know. And then my mother would be like, no, honey America. Like she said,
She's
yeah,
American, yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
up
exactly.
until now, I'm still having the debates with my friends who back in
Yes.
Russia, and they're like, "You guys are always smile or that."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Listen, it's not about that. It's just
Yeah.
being happy. Just be
Yeah, no, I
happy."
prefer it. Yes.
But now I already kind of,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
before it was a big cultural shock on that, and people in general, different people, different mentality,
Yes.
different approach on everything, and yeah, it takes a lot to adjust.
And then what did you study at University of Florida?
MBA,
Oh,
Master
okay,
of
that's right. So you did
Business.
Master's of
I
Business.
got my Master of Business
And
from
then
there.
from there, when did you become a realtor?
So I was studying there, and that's how I one day
Yeah.
ended up in Jacksonville and met
Yes.
my husband here.
Okay.
Back then, it wasn't a husband, and we started
Mm-hmm.
dating, and he, gradually made me move to Jacksonville, and I was
Yes.
like, okay, I'm excited, bigger city. I'm
Yeah.
coming from Moscow, and I was always
Yeah.
a big city girl.
Yes.
And then when I ended up in in Gainesville, I was like, oh my goodness, what is
Yeah.
this? But it took me time
Yes.
to adjust. And then I was very excited to move to Jacksonville. That's where I moved.
Yeah.
And in 2016, I graduated with my MBA. And
Mm-hmm.
I was going to see what I wanted to do next.
Yes.
Do I want to end up being an office
Mm-hmm.
admin or something, working in the
Yes.
office, like from 9 to 5? Or do I want to do something, working for myself? And that's when I ended up doing real estate. I
Okay.
first started doing the property management.
All right.
And the one lady who posted the job on Facebook, it was
Yes.
just so sudden, I
Yeah.
wasn't even planning on doing that. She posted it on Russia, one of the Russian groups. She was like, well, I'm looking for someone doing the property management
Yes.
and so on and so on. I was like, hey, I speak Russian, I can do it.
Okay.
And, I started doing that and I loved it. I started learning more about real estate. I started learning about investments and
Mm-hmm.
investors from different countries. And back then we were working specifically with the Israeli people,
Okay.
the investors. And I got into all of that. And one day my broker, she was like, listen, you're so good at it.
Yeah.
You're good at renting, managing, doing all these showings for rentals and stuff like that, like making sure they're
Yeah.
going through the process. It's like, you understand the system so well, why wouldn't you just apply for a license? And every time I was like,
Yeah.
okay, one day,
Yeah.
one day I will. And then one day I did, and
Yeah.
I got approved, and I passed the exam, and that's how I got licensed. And she was the first one I texted at night. I was like, hey, my broker, I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I got my license. She was like, hey, I never
Yeah.
thought you wouldn't. And
Yeah.
that was exactly the time when I actually also applied for my home health agency,
Okay.
and it was COVID time.
All right.
So it was
It's
very
like 2020, like 5 years
20,
ago.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's just maybe right before the COVID
Yes.
time, and the COVID time when the health license I got, the
Yes.
home care license. And it was interesting because how we were all like stuck at home.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you don't really know what to
Yeah.
do, and all my family's back home. My mom is
Yeah.
traveling. My mom lives part time here, part time back
Okay.
home. So back time she was
Yes.
there, and I'm here with my husband, and
Mhm.
he's like not working anymore. We're all going crazy.
Yes.
And I'm like, I gotta do something. And this moment, this is the time for me to do something else. Of what else I wanted
Yeah.
to do. And I was like, okay, let me just learn more about this home care business. And my mom has been a caregiver for so many years, since she moved here, and she moved here 2 years after I moved here,
Okay.
kind of like part-time.
Yes.
And once she's here, she does like some
Yeah.
work for herself, whatever. And I was like, okay, so if I will establish that type of business, what is how can that benefit me,
Mm-hmm.
benefit my mom, let's say,
Yes.
and stuff like that. No, she can work for me,
Yeah.
she can be employed by me even
Yeah.
better. And that's when I start seeing the how much they've been paid, her friends and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I start, learning more about the whole
Mm-hmm.
process. And then I was like, why wouldn't I do that? And all these like ladies,
Yeah.
once they were somebody
Mm-hmm.
back home, teachers,
Yeah.
uh, cardiologists. My mom is a woman
Mm-hmm.
doctor, and now they're here. They're like, they're struggling still. I
Yes.
mean, the caregiver job is
It's
very
very difficult. It's labor
difficult. It's
intensive and it's very
hard,
hard.
and
Yes.
then the pay they make and all
Is
that.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm just gonna make it happen for them. I'm gonna do
Um,
like they would make more money, and that's what
yeah.
actually happened. That was my goal. I was never driven by money in that moment. I
Yes.
was more driven
To
by,
help them.
okay, if they're making, let's say, $8 an hour, I'll pay them $16 an hour.
Yeah.
How is gonna be happy for that? Oh my God, they were so happy, and I
Yeah.
did that. And I have no idea how I did it,
Yeah.
but I opened a Google and I started reading. How do you, apply for the license through? There's a Department of Health. You have to
Yeah.
get licensed through ACA, and then
Mm-hmm.
the whole It's very hard,
Yes, I can
but
imagine.
it's possible.
Mhm.
What I
Yeah.
understood, it's when I got the license, and then I start like reaching out to all the insurance,
Yeah.
because you have to be contracted with insurances, and how I'm back and forth with all these emails and paperwork and
This is
all
pretty
this
amazing that you're just doing this on Google and just learning all this stuff.
bureaucracy myself.
No, that's very
I'm like,
amazing.
why is
Yeah.
this so much papers when you could only be done with one? But this is what they want, and you have to comply with that. And I was
Yes.
like, I guess this is what our country is, and this is what you do. And I start doing that,
Yes.
and then with more insurances. And then when I got my first insurance, I got contracted with was Humana. Big deal.
That's amazing.
Big deal.
Yeah,
It's like
that's awesome.
huge.
And how did you get
insurance
contact with it, or how did you get a
I
contract?
found them on
Google.
the relation
Yes.
providers. They're emailing them, and they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Okay,
You
so
should have a license.
I'm not. I'm almost licensed." They're
Okay.
like, "Do you have this?" I was like, "Well, no, I don't." They're like, "Well, you need to do this first, and then contact us back."
Yes.
And I did.
Nice.
And going through all these processes, knock out
Yeah.
one, knock out another company,
Mhm.
and then third, and I was like, okay, now I'm good. And I start like getting people being employed by me,
Yes.
like all my mom's friends, and she started like spreading the word.
Yes.
My daughter, and they're like, oh my goodness. And
Yeah.
it's so funny because I'm speaking about it, and 3 days ago, exactly 3 days ago,
Yes.
my mom came to me and she's like, don't be mad. I was like, why would I be mad? She lives with me.
Yes.
She's like, my friend, this and this lady. I was like, yeah. She's like, I think her son wants to open the same company,
Oh,
like
okay,
home
yeah.
care, and they've been asking so many people, and nobody share with them like not where to start.
Oh, okay.
Can you maybe talk to him? I took my phone and
Yeah.
I know he's in my Facebook friends.
No,
I was
yeah.
like, hey, your mom called my mom.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about this? I don't really remember exactly what I started from. I told him, I was
Yes.
like, but I can meet you over the weekend
That's
and
really
I can
kind of
guide you. He's like, I really want to do it for my mom. And that's exactly my moment
Yeah.
when he reminded me of me.
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
like, I'll help you.
That's
From
awesome.
what I can do, I'll help you.
Yes.
So I'm planning on seeing him.
Oh, that's awesome.
This
That's really
weekend.
cool. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And there's enough people that need home health
Definitely.
to go around. Yes.
Yeah, so,
So you started your own. So this is an LLC that you have then? Okay. So how was it to start your own business? Was it stressful?
the home care,
Well, just because it's not just a home care, but now you have to have the LLC and do all of that. Was that hard?
it
That
was
part?
hard.
Yeah.
It was
So-
hard. You have to learn everything
Yeah,
from
because it's not
admin
exactly because
to
it's not just the now you have to work
to
all the
the
back end things and the money and the taxes
payroll.
and payroll. Yeah, all of that.
But
So-
I got so lucky because
But you had the MBA. So
correct.
You knew a little. Okay, so that helped
I
you.
knew all of that,
Okay.
and then I knew exactly the people to establish a relationship with.
Okay.
Who were, let's say, a lady who does my taxes for so many years.
Yes.
I'm so grateful for her. And she's well known in our community, helping people with
Okay.
taxes. So she knows my business so well. And, all the
Yeah.
ladies who work for me, she already knows, who to do what, and 99s and stuff like that. So there was help, but there was also where I knew that, okay, for this part, I need someone's help. So I'm
That's
gonna,
good.
establish a relationship there, and then, hire this and this. So of course, that's how
Yeah,
it
because
works.
I own my own business, but I had never taken a business class. I still haven't. So I've been kind of like you, just learning from my like as I go. So that's been kind of overwhelming. The
It's
whole
very,
yes,
but
yeah, because I'm a good nurse practitioner and I know how to sell, but there's a lot of back end things that I'm learning as I go.
yeah, I'm still
Yeah,
learning.
a lot.
It's
Izzy helps
always,
me a lot. Izzy,
yeah.
yeah, she's my office manager at work too, and then she comes and does the podcast for
Ah,
me.
that's great.
Yes, so
I
yeah.
have somebody like you as
Yeah, so
well.
she's my I don't know what I do without her. So
Yes, I have a lady
yes.
just like you.
Yes,
Her name is
so
Selena. She's the best.
okay.
She helps me. She has been helping me because even when I was getting my license,
Yeah.
I was making a few mistakes here and there
Yes.
where I find
Yeah.
out only afterwards when I start billing. And
Yes.
that's when
Well,
I was
that's
like,
what, yeah.
okay, so they're like, you have to go back to the very beginning and rechange
Yeah.
everything. And that's when the
Yeah.
Selena
Well,
came to
sometimes
my
too.
life.
Yeah. Even sometimes people will ask me, Izzy, with the prices, they'll be like, "Can you do it for this price?" And I'll be like, "Wait a second." I'll be like, "Izzy, can we do this for the?" Because she's so good about knowing all
Right,
our products
right.
and the pricing and the, and the profit margins. And I'm like, I'll check with you.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
So, and then you also are involved in nonprofit organization or
Correct.
leadership. I had
So
for the UN. So explain. That sounds really major. So explain this.
it's very major,
Yeah.
and it was an interesting transition
So,
in my life where I
yes.
was doing the 2020. That's when I was
Um.
doing my home care, and then I was doing my real estate
Yes.
for very intensively,
Mhm.
and then
Because how do you get
20,
involved in the UN?
2021 and
Okay.
2022, a lot of money, a lot of transactions, being a
Mhm.
real estate agent, a lot of investors, just regular people,
Yeah.
people who moving to
Mhm.
Florida, and then one day I just came home and I was like, okay, it feels to me that okay, I learned this
Mhm.
part of the business
Yes.
of a real estate agent. I can draw you a contract with my closed eyes,
Mhm.
whatever, anything from the property management to the building out to build a house.
Mhm.
I've learned everything
Yeah.
basically. Flip, build, permits,
Mhm.
just the
All of
regular
it.
transactions. Correct.
Mhm.
What now? And I'm like, okay, I want to study
Mhm.
again. I came home, my
Mhm.
mom was like, again? I was like, it's time. She's like, what you gonna do now? I was like, Mom, I have to go back to school.
Yeah.
And she's like, for what? I was like, I gotta go and help people. She's like, so what you gonna study? You're gonna be a doctor? I was like, no, not a doctor. I don't like the blood. I said, I wanna go and pursue whatever I always wanted to do. And she said, what was it? And I found this program at UNF,
Mhm.
it's International Affairs and
Yes.
Politics, and I contacted the director of the program, and I was like, "Hey, I have one master degree.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with politics because degree because
Yes.
I'm a linguist and a
Mhm.
business
Yes.
person, but I want to learn everything,
Yeah.
like
And explain
globally."
what's the program that you contacted?
International Affairs and
Okay.
Politics.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
it's
Okay.
a master degree. And he was like, it's different from everything what you've done. And
Yes.
I said, yes, but I always wanted to do that because
Okay.
before I wanted to do that
Mhm.
back home, but it just didn't happen because
Yes.
there were some reasons for that. And he's like, okay, just send me your paperwork, so like
Yes.
your whatever stuff, and we will see if you're eligible and your resume. My resume with real estate and business. Okay, so I sent it all, and I was like, but can I just like come by and introduce
Yeah.
myself? And he's like, sure, come.
Yeah.
So I came by and I met him, and he was like, so what it is you want to do it for? And I was like, I want to just learn how this foreign laws or
Mhm.
anything, the way how everything works for the people, like
Mhm.
how the politically
Yeah.
politically
Politically.
why wise everything works towards the people, success, benefits and all of
Mhm.
that. He's like, okay, but you sure you want to do it? I was like, yeah, I always wanted to help people,
Yes.
and living in Jacksonville for so many years, I've helped from a little cat to a little kid I
Yes.
once found on the streets. And I
Yes.
was like, okay, what am I going to do with you now? So, like I've always been that humanitarian more than a businesswoman.
Yes.
He's like, okay. So he accepted me right away. And I was so excited. And I was making back then, I was making good money. I was like,
Yeah.
it's okay. I got it. I'll pay with the cash. Mom, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And by then, I already own my own house.
Yes.
And and all that. So I started school, and how you go to school and they give you this like list of classes you choose
Like the
from.
syllabus.
So back home, it's not like that. Back home,
Okay.
you go to school and there is a set of classes you take. It's as a mandatory classes,
Okay, yes.
like through the 4 years of your, like, let's say, back when
There's
you
no
was a kid.
electives.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you don't choose
Okay.
anything. Here, it's my second time being in school. I'm like, okay, here we go again. So when I sat down, and then I sat down with my auntie, and she's a professor at UF, right? And she
Yeah.
said, so what do you want to concentrate on? And I looked through, and I was like, I really want to concentrate in on the immigrants, on how this this world works in terms of people migrating, in what terms, like what are the laws are out there, international treaties,
Yes.
what I found later they called, and all that. And she was like, okay, so then maybe why wouldn't you choose these classes, and we
Yeah.
went through, and we figured out which would be more closest to me. And that's how I started my school in 2022.
Wow.
In August, I got admitted to UNF, and I started my first class. It was very challenging. I'm
I
not
can
gonna lie.
imagine.
It was completely different. And I remember driving to my first class. I still have that video on Snapchat.
Yeah.
I was Snapchatting myself,
Yeah.
crying.
Aw.
I'm like, I know I have to do this. I have
Yeah.
no idea why I'm doing this,
Yeah.
but this is how I feel I
Your spirit
should
was calling you to do
Yeah,
it.
like I have. Later on, I understood
Yes.
when I ended up at the nonprofit that I had so much potential and ways on contributing towards
Yes.
those who are, once I was like,
Yes.
that I was like, that's why I ended up doing that. So when I started doing my school, I did my first semester, and remember was sitting in my real estate office, and I put the phone in front of me, the office phone, because I work for myself, but I have an office, and I started like calling all the possible
Nonprofits.
nonprofit where I could do my internship over 100 hours, and nobody would pick up. Nobody would pick up. So I started, going through all my list of contacts. I was like, hey, maybe I can even work for immigration lawyer, maybe like do my internship or something. Couldn't find anything. And then this Lutheran social services is the only nonprofit I would keep calling back, keep with the same number. And I remembered, and I was like, I'm just gonna be keep calling. Nobody answered. And then one day I called again, and the HR answered, and her name was Aziza, and she answered. She's like, you've been calling. I was like, I've been calling. She's like, well, come over. I was like, okay. So when I came, and they sit down with me, there were like 5 people interviewing me. It was very interesting. I've never been involved in the nonprofit, like when it's related to people. I've been related to nonprofit related to animals in Jacksonville for a long period of time, but not people. So I sat down, and it's a pretty like serious organization, and there's all these people, and this lady in front of me, great lady. She ended up being my supervisor, and she used to be a UN lady who actually in 2011 had a speech at the assembly in New York, in the UN assembly, and she is from the Egypt. Okay. She was representing Egypt, so she's like the greatest mentor for me. Her name is Miss Lily, and she said in front of me and the other people who work there, and then we all become friends, of course. So they start interviewing me, this and that, and all I'm talking about is real estate, and they're like, okay, so how are you can relate yourself doing this 100 hours? And I was like, well, even being a real estate agent, I said, how many people I have, like with this Section 8, I remember I would help people, with needs. And a lot of my real estate people who I've known back then, they would be like, why are you doing this? Like, a real estate agent doesn't do that kind of job. Like, leave it to property management. Just concentrate on selling big money. And I was like, but they're still calling me. And I can't say, no, I have to help. Because I've learned, how to like fill out all the paperwork for this, like, low incomes and stuff. So I can't say no. There is a spread of word of Emily, of a Russian Emily. They would call me back then. I had the white Lexus. They would call me, this is a Russian lady on the white Lexus.
It's going to help us. Get us to the promised land. Get us to Section 8 housing.
I remember I would stand in a Section 8 department in the city, and going with one of my clients
Yes.
because she had some issues with her Section 8 voucher.
Yes.
And there would be like 10 of people coming to me knowing that I'm a real estate agent, and
Yeah.
everybody, and like I can't just say no. Like
Yeah.
I don't, of course, here's my
Yeah.
business card, contact me, I'll help you and stuff like that. So all of that. So when I was doing the my uh, internship, whatever
Yes.
the thing, they were interviewing me, and then I sat down and I spoke to them. They spoke to me, and then when they were like talking about themselves, I started listening. What is the luck they have in their organization, and that when my background of my home care came, and I was like, hold on a second. So you're trying to say that you guys are welcoming the people coming to this country. You have a certain amount of time to make them self-sufficient, and then you let them go. And then mind this, it's 90 days. Let's say for for different countries, it's a different timeline. But let's say we speak about Afghanistan, right? Like all these refugees coming from that country.
Yes.
They have 90 days from the day they arrive to the States to be self-sufficient. Self-sufficient meaning being able to survive on their own. And most of these people, they won't be able to. And when I start asking them, several questions on what type of people you guys are talking about and stuff like that, they're like, we're not worried about people who are young, and they're like more quick on making decisions and go there and accomplish. We're speaking about big families who are having elderly with them in the group, or people who are
Because they all need to,
disabled.
right?
Correct.
Everyone in the clan needs to be able to meet this.
Right. And I'm like, okay, so in that case, you need. They're like, yes, like that's where we're having some issues, because we need to teach them how to go and work. But if they have somebody in the house who is elderly, somebody has to stay in the house, so it's a less income for them to survive and stuff like that. And I was like, what, going to my background of my home care, I was like, people with elderly and people who are disabled qualify for what?
Home health.
Qualify for that. And what do you mean? Okay, that means that if there is a father who is, let's say,
they can be the caretaker.
The daughter, instead of going and do the full time somewhere, can stay home and be a caretaker and being paid by
very
the
smart.
Insurance directly, and then by that paying taxes, being a good citizen. I mean, not necessarily, but
that's
like
a really smart thinking.
They did not know about that. So when I sat with them and they interviewed me, and I ended up interviewing them, kind of thing, like they were like, "What? That thing exists?" I'm like, "Mm-hmm." And you know how to do all this? I was like, "Well, yeah, I know." I wouldn't benefit from that, because that would be, a conflict of interest for me to
to basically benefit
through my company. But I knew exactly step by step how to
teach them,
navigate them exactly. And they were like, okay, the lady, Miss Lily, she was like, she's coming with me. And that's when she was supervisor for that intensive case management. Which is the only department in the North Florida we had. So every single nonprofit, including the what is it? The other one we have here, Catholic charities.
Okay.
So the Catholic charities would take a lot of people also from overseas, and then when they would see that after the period of time when it's said by the program is ending, and they see that the people are not self-sufficient yet because of many other reasons could be. And I'm speaking about reasons like cancers or any serious things. Ailment. They would forward it to us. It would come to our department, to me and Miss Lily, basically. And that's when we would sit down, we would interview them, establish if they're they're matching to what is good for our program, and we would accept them. And that's when the whole process will start. It could be from kids being disabled, and I would have the families like that, and I would do everything. I would be basically the advocate for them. Okay. And to the people who, I had a client who had a kidney failure, and every time I would have to go with him and establish relationship with doctors, or there would be some misunderstanding because there's no language,
Yes.
and imagine me, I don't speak their language neither. I don't speak Arabic, and most of my clients would be Arabic.
Yes.
It was easier when I had Ukrainian clients, and I had so many of those.
Yes.
And I would, definitely easier to work with, and I established so many they become caregivers for their elderly parents, or for their one lady I have, her brother has been paralyzed the entire life, and she was struggling. And then one day I was like, hey, why wouldn't you just, come to me, and we will see if you're qualified for the program. Transferred to us basically her case, and they did, and we accepted her. 40, no, 67 hours we got her approved with.
Wow.
She became a caregiver, full-time job, paying taxes, and guess what? We're buying a house.
Oh,
So
that's
it's been 2 years now.
That's amazing.
With all the income and everything, now we are looking for a house for her to
That's
buy.
amazing. That's really special.
That's when I was like, wow, Emily, you just like accomplished everything in her, like every part of that family life. You kind of like helped them.
Yeah.
And you, I don't know how to say that, but for me, this is a success. When I see
100%.
this tangible success, when I see the things, what is happening with their lives, that makes me happy. That makes me understand why at the COVID times, I was sitting and learning how to establish that and learn about the home care. Why I started working in the property management after I got my master's degree, understanding, about the people and how to help them and all that. And then in the end, of course,
it sounds like, I believe in God. It sounds like He's really using you to really touch people's lives. That's really special.
I'm trying.
Yeah, that's really special. We're a little tight on time, but I ask everyone the same two questions at the end. So the first one is, and I want to maybe bring you back because there's a lot more to talk about. You're really interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're beautiful, but you're also really, really intelligent. And it's really, this is my first time meeting you, and I know sometimes you judge a book by the cover. I didn't really know. I don't do that too much because I know I'm pretty open, but you really are, like, I'm really happy that you're here, and just to meet you and speak to you, you have a really beautiful mind and a beautiful soul, and it's really impressive everything you're doing. So thank you. We'll keep talking, but for coming, and it's very, very impressive, and you have a really kind heart. So
thank you for having me.
So I believe in like visions or manifestation. I kind of believe in visions, and I always ask people, "What's your 5-year goal?" Or what would you like to see yourself in 5 years? And then I ask everyone, and then I have this like premonition that in 5 years they're going to have this Feliciana and Friends, and all of my guests would have accomplished their dreams, and they're going to have it then, and then we're going to show them in 5 years from now, and they would have accomplished everything. So where would you like your vision to see yourself or your family in 5 years?
Well, I definitely want to continue to do what I'm doing.
Yes.
And I definitely want to touch every single life coming my way in a positive way. But personally, my goals and my dreams would be, sometimes I look at myself and I'm thinking, okay, yes, Emily, you have achieved so much, and you've done so much, and you've learned so much, but I still know that I have so much potential and so much that kind power. I believe that I should be somewhere in a government job.
Yeah.
Changing this world to a better place in that level. I believe that I will stand there and I will fight for people's rights and people's lives.
I think there's power in words too, power in the tongue.
I always manifest that way, and I'm always thinking that, yes, I'm here in Jacksonville right now, and I'm just this little Emily.
But only this far away from DC.
Correct. But there is going to be a day when I'm going to be standing there, and I'm going to be standing not for myself, but for all of those who need that one person to speak for them.
No, that's 100%. That's
my dream.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really positive. And then the last question that I ask everyone is there a quote or something that you kind of live by that you want to share?
Well, I always say that a lot of people ask me the same question all the time. They say, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And my always question is, and my always answer is, I always want to change this world to a better place. But I also believe that to do that, you have to start with yourself first, like
Yes.
how you go and treat people. Because if I'm treating you kind, and then the next person will come to your life, you will remember how Emily treated you.
Yes.
And you will do the same to that person. And that's my goal for you, not to do back to me kind, but to do the other. So I'm setting an example for you.
Yes.
And you're setting an example for that person.
You're a very special person.
Thank you. So much.
No, I'm saying no, but I'm glad you shared all this. So thank you so much for coming.
Of course. Thank you
And
for having me.
of course. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.